Welcome to Stir Crazy. I'm Austin, your host, and today's drink suggestion came from my VHS Facebook pal, Patty Walnuts. Thank you for the drink suggestion, and a shout out to all my VHS Facebook rejects and pals out there. I'll even show off a tape in this episode, but you got to stick around. You got to work for it, okay? I'm not just going to give it to you right away. So I designed this new tachyometer that you see before you to keep an eye on my tackiness levels during tonight's episode, because I'm going to be walking a bit of a fine line here. Seems to be stuck right now at very tacky. It might be because I started with a pun and prop comedy. So let's maybe get a baseline reading of the room. Okay, questionable taste. That's fair. That's fair. How about my gas station shirt with chickadees on it? What do you think about that? Very tacky. Okay, seems to be working. Let's see here. How about my glass selection for tonight? What do you think about that? Seems to be stuck somewhere between the 70s and very tacky. It does have a clown on it. Okay, I think it's working. What if I were to, say, show off my pecker? I'm stuck at gross, but no, I see it. Okay, it's confused here. What if I show off this pecker? Okay, there we go. John Waters. Very good. Seems to be working as it should. So, well, let's maybe get another baseline reading here. Questionable taste. Well, you are watching this show after all. So the reason that I got the tachyometer is that I'm going to be mixing my general heavily scripted, dumb, tipsy comedy with some rather sobering history tonight. I mean, it works for drunk history, right? So I don't know. Monday episodes of Stir Crazy usually feature day drinking, but you caught me drinking on my day off, and I was hungover this morning. And rather than drink in the morning, I'd figured I'd leave it till evening and just sleep in a little bit. Yeah, so this is a hair of the dog that bitches sort of breakfasty drink, though. So I guess let's get to it. And also, I should add that this week I decided the theme. Yeah, we're having a theme week now. Jesus, would be traveling. So these are all going to be cocktails, except for maybe Thursday, but we'll get to that one, that are either named for places or certain locales are renowned for this particular drink. So let's have a look-see then, shall we? So tonight's drink is a mix of Southern Comfort, Sloe Gin, Amaretto, and orange juice. Southern Comfort is a liquor, or is it a liqueur, that I have mostly sworn off and would likely never keep in my house. Much like the South, my relationship with it is that it seemed all right, maybe even nice at first, but then at other times it made me violently ill. A slogan for it might be slow-acting Ipecac for teenagers. You can look up its flavor profile, which I have worked hard to block out from my memory, but is essentially sweet syrupy whiskey with fruity, nutty mystery spices. Since my bar is limited and I'm doing my best to observe shelter-in-place orders, my substitution for Southern Comfort is a little bit of whiskey with some cinnamon simple syrup and some maple simple syrup from my friend Bert. Thank you, Bert, for your suggestion on that. I made the cinnamon simple syrup for a messy horchata cocktail last week that I've been looking for an excuse to use it up. So it's in here, at least some of it. So here's our glass with ice, and we're gonna add 1 ounce of our fake Southern Comfort substitute here. I'm going to try a little bit of this too, just to see what I think of it. That's actually kind of good. I'm generally not a I'm generally not a fan of cinnamon, though I somehow did develop a taste for Fireball a couple of years ago by hanging out with boozers with a tolerance for garbage drinks. Don't have any in the house, but yeah, this is surprisingly similar. Better, though, because of the maple flavor. All right, so slow gin. We've got that right here. Slow gin is apparently gin flavored with sloe berries, which, from my reading, sound as though they are nearly inedible unless soaked in booze. My substitute for this is a little bit of gin, some elderberry wine from our dearly departed friend John Maxon, the wine we cracked open last Thursday's episode, and a skosh of Amori, a bit of blackberry moonshine, and a dash of bitters. Sounds like the stuff. So, all right, let's we'll add that to our drink as well. Let's do this a little more stylishly. Can I manage? Oh yes, I'm a professional drinker. No, I'm just an under the influencer on YouTube. Okay, so that leaves Amaretto that I've measured out here and orange juice. So we'll put the Amaretto in, and we're going to measure out 2 ounces of orange juice. So it's 1 ounce of each of the liquors and 2 ounces of orange juice. So for those of you who, let's have a look at that. Well, it seems like stuff's kind of floating at the bottom. Maybe we'll give it a, I forgot my stir stick, but I'll grab one here in a minute. Well, how about the old trusty crazy straw? All right, so there's our crazy straw. So for those of you who have been guessing at what this drink is, why it is an Alabama Slammer, probably somewhere that no one wants to travel to, even in their imagination. Just leave the crazy straw in there. In my twisted mind, this immediately made me think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail, and then think, are you really going to do a comedic bar short that alludes to the unjust jailing of a civil rights leader? Apparently. So I decided to look up the history of the letter because I was not that familiar with it. And I realized that Dr. King was jailed this very same week in 1963 for his participation in the Birmingham campaign, a series of organized boycotts, sit-ins, kneel-ins, marches, and other nonviolent protests against segregation. He drafted this historic letter on the margins of newspapers brought in by his compatriots while he was sitting in a Birmingham jail cell, and I'm sure he was getting an even worse treatment than most of the prisoners that were there. Rather than run the risk of trying to mistakenly summarize history or condense Dr. King's words, I thought I would mix my drink and sit and listen to an audio version of this letter, which I will link to in the comments. He and many others were fighting injustice by disobeying unjust laws with these nonviolent protests. And as much as we would like to deny it, this country has been built on injustice. Luckily, there are many folks out there who are seeing, calling out, and doing their best to fight these injustices. We live in an age where these injustices should be much easier to see, despite the good deeds and heroic actions of many right now. This pandemic has and is going to continue to bring out many injustices and bring them to light. We live in an age where these injustices should be much easier to see. If you're looking for me to point them out, I don't think that is necessarily the function of my dumb little show. You need only look around you. I encourage you to talk about these injustices you see around you and link to causes to help mitigate them in the comments. I'm here to distract you a little bit, put a smile on your face, help you drink to forget, but sometimes we have to drink to remember. So I'm hoping that, like this tasty drink, many disparate elements can come together to bring harmony and justice for all. What the hell?
Warning! Ham-fisted metaphor! Warning! Warning! Ham-fisted metaphor!
What's going on with this thing? It's in the red.
Warning! Ham-fisted metaphor! Warning! Warning! Ham-fisted metaphor! Warning!
Oh,
Warning!
shit.
Ham-fisted metaphor! Warning! Warning! Ham-fisted metaphor! Warning!
I think I broke it.
Ham-fisted metaphor!
Well, we'll just get that out of the way. Got my cocktail here. And I've got an audio version of Dr. King's speech queued up. It is from the Dr. King Institute. Let's get the proper name of this place. The Martin Luther King Jr. Research and Education Institute at Stanford. So I'm going to start this up here. I'm not going to let it play the whole time, but it's an hour long. I'm going to listen. I hope you do too.
My dear fellow clergymen, while confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statement calling my present activities unwise and untimely. Seldom do I pause to answer criticism of my work and ideas.